Good evening and welcome. There's been an explosive twist in the Rafale deal case. Former French President Francois Hollande giving an interview to a French publication saying that it's the Indian government that recommended the Anil Ambani group to the French side, and that's why negotiations with the Ambani group began. The Congress says this is the smoking gun they've been looking for. Where does that leave the defense of the BJP? That's our top focus on the newsroom tonight. There's been a mega twist in the Rafale deal dogfight. Now, former French President Francois Hollande has given an interview to a French investigative publication where he's basically saying it's the Modi government that suggested that Dassault tie up with the Anil Ambani group, and that this was suggested by the Indian government, and that's where Dassault's conversation with the Ambani group started. Now, for the longest time, the BJP at various levels has been saying that this had nothing to do with the BJP government, that this was a decision that Dassault had taken in its own commercial interest. Now you've got the man who signed, the man who was there when the deal was signed on the French side, the former French president, saying that this was suggested to the French side by the Indian government. The Congress thinks they found the smoking gun they were looking for. The Ministry of Defense has put out a statement saying they're looking at the statements attributed to the former French president. There's a big political showdown that's ensued. Here's the story.
Could this be the bombshell that Rahul Gandhi was waiting for? It's the one statement that makes the Rafale controversy into an all-out scam. In the roaring crossfire over the Modi government's 2016 deal for 36 Rafale jets from France, a very heavy bomb has just dropped. Former French President Francois Hollande, in an interview to a French online news portal Mediapart, has said it was the Modi government that proposed Anil Ambani's Reliance as a partner to Rafale's maker Dassault in the jet deal, and that neither Dassault nor the French government was given a choice. The statement collides headfirst with statements made by both the defense minister as well as the finance minister that the government had absolutely no say in Dassault choosing to partner with Reliance.
All these attributes which are being put to us about HAL is not for us to answer. It was for the UPA to answer as to why, if the negotiations were going on between Dassault and HAL, the government could have done anything to strengthen HAL's offer.
Not only Rafale, but every defense manufacturer has to enter, original equipment supplier has to enter into the offset contracts. Now they enter into offset contracts with India's private sector, they enter into with public sector, and therefore Dassault will also enter into contracts with whoever they want. The government of India has nothing to do.
Within an hour of the report making impact in India, the Ministry of Defense under Nirmala Sitharaman responded, stating that it was verifying the French reports, but also affirming that neither government nor French government had any say in the commercial decision to pick Anil Ambani's Reliance. The government's quickness to respond is understandable. The assertions from the former French president are explosive, to say the least. For starters, there are 5 major implications and questions. As the government moves to firefight the explosive charge, the damage has likely landed a big blow. And Rahul Gandhi, who has sunk in his teeth into the allegation that Prime Minister Modi did Anil Ambani a huge favor, will declare vindication and a smoking gun. As Hollande's statement became public, the Congress president trained his guns at the Prime Minister again. This time, accusing him of betraying India and personally delivering a deal worth billions to a bankrupt Anil Ambani.
अनिल अंबानी जी ने हवाई जहाज कभी नहीं बनाया. अनिल अंबानी जी 45,000 करोड़ रुपए कर्जे में हैं. अनिल अंबानी जी ने कंपनी कुछ ही दिन पहले खोली. राफेल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट से कुछ ही दिन पहले खोली.
In endless months of a bitter crossfire over the Rafale deal, former President Hollande's charges could be a body blow. How the Modi government chooses to respond remains to be seen. Bureau Report, India Today.
Former French President Francois Hollande putting the Modi government in a spot of bother here, saying the French government did not have a say in this. The Indian government proposed this service group, aka the Anil Ambani group, and Dassault negotiated with Ambani. We did not have a choice. The opposition is jumping, saying we told you so. The government, let's see what they have to say. Joining us on this broadcast, Narendra Taneja represents the BJP, Sanjay Jha from the Congress, Sushant Sareen, Strategic Affairs Analyst. I want to go to Narendra Taneja first, because in this article that's been put out in a French publication which is interviewed Francois Hollande, he's saying this, and I just want to give viewers some context. He's saying this because he was asked about his former partner getting contracts for films from the Anil Ambani group. He says, no, I didn't pick the group. So basically he's trying to give himself a clean sheet, but in doing so, he seems to be indicting the government and saying it's the Modi government that chose Anil Ambani. Narendra Taneja, your response to this explosive investigation?
No. You see, look, the contract, for that was given by Dassault, which is a private company. It's not the French government-owned company. And the question is that if they had given that was permitted under the Indian law, because Congress party, during the process when they were negotiating, they changed the law. They allowed the private sector companies to be given offshore, deals. So who changed the law, and why did they change the law? They changed it. Before that, it was not possible. Now, second point is that even in this interview that I'm just, going by what you are saying, he's basically saying the French government didn't do that. Yeah, but because French government couldn't do that. The manufacturer of the aircraft is a private company. It's not a state-owned company. And is a private company in Europe, most parts of Europe.
Quite what he's saying, Narendra Taneja. I quote to you what Francois Hollande has been quoted as saying, and Sanjay Jha has this smile on his face as he's itching to get in. The Indian government proposed this service group, the Anil Ambani group, and Dassault negotiated with Ambani. We did not have a choice. We took the interlocutor who was given to us. Sanjay Jha from the Congress.
Well, Rahul, let me tell you, the cat is out of the bag. And this is a big cat out of the bag. Because let me tell you the truth. This exposes the lie of Mr. Modi's government. This exposes exactly what we have been saying from the very beginning, that the Rafale scam is a massive scam of epic proportions. Now you are hearing it from the former French president, Mr. Hollande. What is Mr. Hollande saying? He's contradicting exactly what Nirmala Sitharaman, Arun Jaitley and Narendra Modi have been saying, that we had nothing to do with the selection of Reliance Defense as a partner of Dassault. Now you have Francois Hollande saying we were given no choice. We were given no choice. What does it mean? He says that we were told to deal with Reliance Defense. And this means that at the end of the day, this is a brazen case of business corruption, of political patronage, of the hand of the government in subverting Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, giving a 30,000 crore offset contract to Reliance Defense, which over a period of the life cycle was 1,30,000 crores. There is no escaping for Mr. Modi's government. This has come from the former French head of state. He was, by the way, making the joint statement with Narendra Modi when the Rafale deal was signed. Now,
Okay, one second.
Nobody can
So we've
question
heard
this deal.
from two sides. Naturally, the government trying to find some kind of a defense. The opposition saying this is proof. Sushant Sareen, this does put the BJP in a spot of bother because he says very clearly the French side did not choose the Anil Ambani group. The Indian government, and this is the French president, former French president saying this, the Indian government proposed the Anil Ambani group and Dassault negotiated with them. We did not have a choice. We took the interlocutor, we took the company that was given to us. How damaging is this interview for the political fight over the Rafale in India?
Rahul, I don't know because I just give me three points I have to make. Number one, what he said, I don't know French. I haven't seen any solid translation of what he said, and very often we've seen that somebody says something, you know, in the case of Macron, for example, the Congress party thought he had said something, he then clarified that this is not what I said something else. So things tend to get lost in translation, so I think that caveat needs to be kept in mind. Secondly, at least I am not suffering from a colonial hangover, and I see no reason why, as you yourself point out, that there are questions being asked about Hollande himself. Why do we take what he says to be the Ved Vakya or to be the Hadith or Quran, and something which our own leaders say to be not the same? You know, so I think I would rest my judgment on that. Number three, I, for one, if we want to promote private sector, I don't have any problem with a new company coming in. And you know, there is the example of the Godrej boys, which was making cupboards and which were making locks and what have you, and are now today into high-tech missile manufacture. Now, somebody had to give them something so that they could become that. And if we want to promote private sector, then private sector companies, since we have no history of private sector in the defense sector.
One second, Sushant
these
Sareen.
problems are certainly
Sushant
going to
Sareen,
come.
the question that will be asked and the question that needs to be answered. The question that needs to be asked and the question that needs to be answered is, why would Hollande say, and this is when Narendra Taneja needs to come in, that the Indian government proposed the Anil Ambani group? Why should our government?
If you know French, then you tell me what Hollande said.
So I must tell you one second, we're not going by any social media translation. We've gone to the website of Media Mart. We have paid, we've subscribed to Media Mart for 15 days, and we've pulled out their English translation. So it's not our translation. This is now on their website, their English version of the same story. We're not going by Google Translate. So we're leaving that on the side, just so that rests what Sushant Sareen is saying. Why would Hollande say, and where he says, is this not damaging Narendra Taneja, that the Indian government proposed the Anil Ambani group? Why would we do that? There's so many groups. Why pick one? Why propose Anil Ambani?
No.
Rahul, one more expose.
No, bear with me. Allow me to answer it. First of all, you know, I haven't seen the interview. I was not even aware. I was with you for another, debate, and your guest relation asked me to continue. I didn't know what you wanted to discuss. So I haven't seen the translation. I haven't really discussed the issue internally in the party. So I cannot comment on this, this interview of the former French president. You see, number one. Number two is, but there are two big questions I have to put on the table here. Number one is, why did the Congress party change the law? Why? What was in their mind? They must have done it
Narendra
for some
Taneja,
reasons.
I realize you're in a bit of a sticky spot, but these are not the questions right now. The question is, you've been saying this was decided by, forget what the UPA did. Here is a situation where the former French president is saying that the Modi government asked that they negotiate with the Dassault group. Why should the Modi government say negotiate with Anil Ambani? That makes no sense. That's the only question you need to respond to. Sanjay Jha wants to come in. The UPA, one second. They did a terrible job. They were down to 44 seats. The questions need to be asked about your policies, your decision. That's the question now. Narendra Taneja. Okay, one second. Sanjay Jha wants to come in. I'm coming back to you.
Rahul, let me tell you, the
you don't allow me to answer. What do I do? You don't let me speak.
Okay, Narendra Taneja is alleging that we're being intolerant, not allowing him to speak. So I'll give him, in fairness, an opportunity to complete his argument. I'll then come to Sanjay Jha. 30 seconds, Mr. Taneja.
You're not letting me speak. The man who's laughing Congress, he's laughing all through. He's laughing at everyone.
Okay, respond to my question.
You have to tell him not to laugh.
Sir, please respond to my question. And
It's
just
a
try and
serious
respond
show.
to the
Stop.
question
As
that
I
I
made
asked.
very clear,
Mr.
being a
Taneja,
responsible
please respond to
spokesperson-
my question.
Yeah,
let me repeat my question. My question is, the BJP government needs to answer.
I'm
Why is
responding to your
Francois Hollande
question.
saying the Indian government proposed the Anil Ambani group? We did not have a choice. We took the interlocutor who was given to us. Just respond to this one question, Narendra Taneja.
Perfect, perfect. I'll answer it. You see, the question is, as I said, I have not seen the interview. I have not seen the translation. I don't know the French. We will study it and discuss it internally in the government and in the party. Once we are prepared, we'll give the answer to it. I cannot comment just like that because I was not aware of what story you were going to discuss. But the important point is Congress is speaking on behalf of those people who lost the contract because this was direct deal between the government, and Congress represents the interests of those people who are actually arms dealers, merchants of death, and they represent, and that's why they're laughing because they're serious, and at the same time they're serious in the sense because they lost money. Congress represents the interest of certain arms dealers, Quattrochis of the world. Sanjay Jha is speaking on behalf of Quattrochis of the world. He represents Quattrochis.
Mr. Taneja, all of this may have been true at some point in time. Right now, we're dealing with the French president, former French president's interview, and there are some questions that the current dispensation needs to answer. The Quattrochis and the Bofors of the world have been dealt with extensively.
Sanjay Jha there is a reference. I'm referring to the reference point.
Sure. Sanjay Jha.
Now, Rahul, let me tell you, this makes the Prime Minister's own position untenable because this is the point that we have been raising from the very beginning. It is a very open and shut case, and it links to Hindustan Aeronautics Limited being dropped off the deal when it was considered to be 95% done. There is evidence on record. You have Nirmala Sitharaman actually coming and
Why
saying
did you change
that
the law?
Hindustan Aeronautics does not have the capability to produce, and that has been contradicted.
Why did you change the law?
So what do you have here? HAL has been thrown off the deal. Reliance Defense has been actually promoted.
You, the
by
representative
Mr.
of
Modi,
Quattrochis
by
of the
the
world,
government.
why did you change the law?
You stop interrupting in the middle, Taneja.
Taneja, you didn't want him to interrupt. Allow him to complete.
I mean, he's been so rude, Rahul. He's not even letting me speak.
Well, that fader goes down. Let Sanjay Jha complete.
But he is a spokesperson of the Quattrochis of the world.
Rahul, let me tell you this, that this is the crux of the entire Rafale scam. One part was the price, one part was national security, the number of flights being reduced. But I think now I can see the connection. Because by reducing the transfer of technology and removing it, they could sign a bigger deal of 36 aircrafts and pass on all the offset business to Anil Ambani. I mean, it is now becoming as clear as daylight. I mean, that is the big deal, which is why the offset business became huge. And how did the Indian Prime Minister and the government of Mr. Modi recommend Reliance Defense over a deal that was almost being signed with Hindustan Aeronautics? This is the big scam. This will have to have a logical conclusion, Rahul.
So there are two or three things, Sushant Sareen, that have happened. The recently retired chief of Hindustan Aeronautics has now come on record to say HAL had the capacity to manufacture the Rafale in India. We had the Indian government saying they didn't have the capacity. That's being contradicted by the former HAL chief. Although HAL has had a rather shoddy track record, nobody can question that. But on the technicality, he's come out and spoken for what it's worth. And now, even if Francois Hollande is trying to defend himself in response to the charges against his former partner, the fact is he said what he has, that the Modi government recommended the Anil Ambani group. We did not have a choice. We went with the interlocutor that was suggested to us. Politically, that's damaging the Congress tweeting furiously already.
Okay, now, no, look, the Congress party will do what it will do and it will try and milk things for whatever it's worth. The facts of the matter are somewhat, number one, again, the HAL has very serious deficiencies, whether we like it or not, and they have a very, very poor record in many things, including in maintenance of aircraft and other things. We need to invest more money, but the HAL has a lot of problems. Listen, just shut up. I'm not saying that what you are saying is a lie.
Why you
now you listen to me and you can
Sanjay,
decide
just fader goes down. Sanjay, you can't interrupt. I don't like debates like this. One at a time. You had a fair chance to speak. Now listen to Sushant Sareen. All faders go down. Listen only to Sushant Sareen.
Absolutely truth.
Listen to Sushant Sareen.
So I'm not saying that what you are saying is a blatant lie. So you have entitled to your views and you can say what you want to say. I will say what I want to say, and I think that HAL has very serious deficiencies. That is point number one. Point number two is that it was not just the Reliance group whose name was promoted. They asked for a list of possible vendors who they can give offsets to. Reliance was one of the various companies whose name was also mentioned. If they decided that they are giving it to Reliance, that was a decision which the Salt Aviation had to make along with whichever partner they wanted to do, and they were not comfortable with HAL. There are serious problems with many of the defense public sector units. You can go and look at your ordnance factories. You can go and look at Bharat Dynamics and what are the kind of stuff they are doing. Sorry, Bharat, one of those, that company which was involved in that scandal with that, when that Lieutenant General was trying to bribe the former army chief. So you have serious issues on some of these companies, and you cannot say whatever these people have said is absolutely the truth. Now, if what Hollande says that only Reliance was promoted, is there any documentary evidence to back what he says? Otherwise, I can say Hollande is talking a lie. It's one man's word against another man's word, and it means nothing because he himself, there is a bit of a suspicion on him that maybe his partner had got her some kind of a sweetheart deal, so he's trying to, deflect things from himself.
For the time being, I'm out of time on this debate.
Until and unless there is documentary evidence, how can you say only one company was promoted?
Sure, but there are two things. This is now, the Rafale dogfight is now in the political realm. And the Congress and Rahul Gandhi trying to make it a big issue before the elections. They found some very serious ammunition in the former French president saying the Modi government recommended Anil Ambani group. Why would they recommend that group? But the fact also is that here is a former French politician, former French president and politician who's facing charges against his own self. Is he saying this to defend himself? The politics will play out. We'll track this story. For the time being, Narendra Taneja, Sanjay Jha, and also Sushant Sabeen. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.